With injuries. Let's look straight at it then. Aston Villa were beaten 3-0 by Chelsea last time out, but played really well. No surprise then to see that the only change that Dean Smith makes is in goal. Jed Steer out, the returning Emiliano Martinez is in between the sticks after he's been in quarantine in Croatia after a quite simply bonkers international break. 3 changes for Everton from victory over Burnley. Out go 3 of arguably the first names on the team sheet. Jordan Pickford, Seamus Coleman and Richarlison with shoulder, knee and knocks respectively. They drop out completely. Asmir Begovic starts in goal. Salomon Rondon is up top. Alex Iwobi is on the right hand side for a team already shorn as well of last season's top scorer Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So Villa have Emiliano Martinez in goal, a back 3 of Ezri Konsa, Axel Tuanzebe and the captain Tyrone Mings. Then it's Matty Cash right and Matt Targett left. Douglas Luiz will be the holding midfielder with Jacob Ramsey and John McGinn given licence to get forward. Danny Ings and Ollie Watkins are the strikers. For Everton it's Asmir Begovic in goal, Yerry Ben Godfrey and Michael Keane are back 3. The midfield 4, Alex Iwobi, Alan Abdoulaye Doucouré and Luca Digne. And then Andros Townsend and Damare Gray will provide goal threats if recent games have given any indication, in behind Salomon Rondon. It'll be Aston Villa that get us underway as after what has become the customary taking of the knee on the first whistle of our referee Craig Pawson. The second one, which you hear there, is for Aston Villa to get us underway, shooting from left to right as we watch at Villa Park, wearing their claret and blue jerseys, white shorts and blue socks. Everton in their changed away strip of white jerseys, black shorts and black socks, all with a yellow trim. A rather nice away kit, I must say. Dave Kitson will be our analyst this afternoon for this evening kickoff in the Premier League. Aston Villa taking on Everton. It's a throw to Villa over on the left-hand side. And I would have thought, when they read the team sheet, Dave, that Aston Villa would have licked their lips today.
Well, they should do. But look where they are in the league. 4 games played, 4 points. It's not good enough. It really isn't good enough. Plus, you've always got that little thing hanging over your head. Was Grealish the player that really made the difference for us? And at the moment, it's looking like he is. And you can't replace him. I'm looking forward to this. I think there's a huge amount riding on it for both teams. Everton can really put down the marker, especially if they win with the team they put out. It's
worth pointing out that this time last season, Everton and Villa had both won their first 4 games. Everton then drew their 5th. Villa obviously considerably far off that this season, but Everton looking to match that record of last season, which would be their joint best ever start to the season. They have done it, or will have done it 3 times if they manage it again today, but fell away massively after this point as well, as the ball is walloped away by Ben Godfrey away from right to left as we're watching. It's picked up by Ezri Konsa at the back for Aston Villa, for whom Dean Smith will hope that they can come up with a performance of attacking quality and intent like they did against Chelsea, where they actually ended up with more shots than any other team that's faced Chelsea since Thomas Tuchel arrived, bar Liverpool in that game where Chelsea had a man sent off recently. So certainly not shy of creating opportunities, even if they couldn't necessarily take them.
Yeah, I think there will be opportunities in this game, as I think there's enough talent on the pitch to create something fairly decisive in this match. But I just think Villa are fragile at the moment. I think if Everton do go a goal up, the fans can turn on them very, very quickly. And I never really like to say that, but it is just a fact. There's certain clubs out there that you keep them quiet, keep the fans quiet, get a goal up, and the team isn't playing well, and you can get on top. And this is certainly one of those grounds.
And Everton have won the ball in their own half over on the far side, tight to the right touchline with Andros Townsend, but he's caught and the ball taken off of him. And what's interesting at the moment is that right now Damare Gray has started right up alongside Salomon Rondon, with Alex Iwobi on this left hand side and Townsend over on the right. So it is a bit of a switch to what we've seen recently, and it's Iwobi now moving in from the centre. Now they go down the right-hand side, chasing onto that one. Godfrey gives it to Townsend on his left foot, down the right again for Godfrey. Into the box it goes for Rondon, who just couldn't get a second touch right as he turned the defender and tried to stab towards goal. And he's claiming it was a corner, but it was far too easy for Everton to walk through the Aston Villa defence there.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you change your formation at the back. You can change formations all you want, but when you start messing around with the back and they're not used to playing this way or with each other, you always get these kind of situations. That should be 1-0 to Everton. The marking is absolutely awful.
It is going to be a corner to be taken over on the far side by Andros Townsend, involved in 3 goals already for Everton in his 4 games, as his cross comes in there and is headed over by Salomon Rondon, who of course Rafa Benitez knows so well from his time with him at Newcastle.
Oh, it's just really poor from Villa. I mean, doesn't do anything particularly fantastic as a striker in terms of making a run. He just comes off the keeper, comes out a little bit to the edge of the 6-yard box and gets a glancing header on it. You might think he should do better there, to be honest. I mean, we know Rondon, he's not the tallest, but he's great in the air. You think Villa would be all over that.
Effectively, Everton have started with a back 4, haven't they? It did cross my mind when I saw the team sheet that he might have done that. So it's Godfrey at right back with the centre-back pairing of Mina and Keane, and Digne on the left with Iwobi in advance of him and Townsend advanced down the right-hand side. It's basically a 4-4-2. Yeah,
it's not the 5 that we thought it might be before the game, and I think Benitez has got this spot on. I do think when you start going with 5 at the back, as Villa have done really, he wants to push the fullbacks on, Target and Cash. We know that. But I just think that the pace and the way that Everton play with Gray, Townsend and Rondon running at you means that you're not going to get the benefit of those wing-backs. You're going to end up with a back 5.
He started with 3 at the back against Burnley, didn't he, which basically didn't really work in the first half, and it was only after they went 1-0 down in the second that he thought, I'm going to switch this to a back 4. Everything suddenly turned around and Everton were outstanding and got 3 very quick fire goals. McGinn wins the ball in the midfield though for Aston Villa and manages to work it left for Target on his birthday, 26 today, and his gift there for an early attempted cross was a block behind for an Aston Villa corner.
Yeah, he does well there, Target. He is trying to push up the pitch, but the longer this game goes on, certainly with Townsend, we saw him do it last week, didn't we? What a screamer he scored. When he gets that space, he's so difficult to stop, and that is going to be Target's problem in this game.
Douglas Luiz to take this corner, the Brazilian, with the right foot over on the Aston Villa left, and an in-swinger it'll be. Here it comes, in towards the near post. Mings pushes it towards goal, pushed out by the keeper, still not completely clear, behind it goes. It's gone for a corner. That's a really good save by Asmir Begovic. Point blank range from Tyrone Mings' header, and he got good power on it too.
Oh, it's just brilliant football all round. The corner is absolutely on the money. And Mings doesn't do an awful lot with his run. It's literally just a sidestep to the left, away from the goal. He gets a glance. He must think he scored. He must think he scored because he's that close. And he gets great purchase on the header. And Asmir Begovic makes a wonderful flying one-handed right-hand save to push it away. Just getting the replay. It's a phenomenal save.
Sensational. Yeah, and you've got to say as well, the second one, Keane goes in to clear it off the line with McGinn at close quarters as well. They're going to have to face another delivery, probably very similar, you would have thought, from Douglas Luiz now. And it's nowhere near as good.
You never get 2 in a row, do you?
No, absolutely not. And Everton can tear away with this. Townsend running from inside his own 18-yard box, out to the right-hand side for Demarai Gray. His first touch isn't the best, and it allows the challenge by Target, and Luiz comes in to help out. And this has started at a frenetic pace. 7 minutes gone. Aston Villa 0, Everton 0. And do join us on Twitter as well. Have your say at TalkSport Live. Tell us where you're listening in, what you think about the 2 sides that we're watching today, from what you've seen and heard so far this season. And as always, I do like people to send in their photos as well of some of the exotic places that you're listening in around the world. And Mike has already done that, listening in from Ohio, where he's mowing the lawn, he said, listening in. in Kent, Ohio, and it's a rather nice looking lawn as well. I'm not totally sure it needs it. Maybe you've already done it, Mike.
Just because he can.
At Talk Sport Live, send your pictures, but also send us your predictions, both short term and long term. What's going to happen in this game, and where do you see these two sides finishing this season? As Aston Villa go for the high diagonal, it's just beyond Matt Target, and that's going to be a throw into Everton in their right back position, which Ben Godfrey, newly capped by England just before the Euros, of course, a couple of caps he was given before being dropped for the European Championship squad. And this impressive young defender, versatile, he's been playing at centre half, can also play at right back as he's doing today, will take a throw for Everton.
Well, what a start to the game, first and foremost. I mean, it's just, if you were going to show somebody what the Premier League is all about, what it looks like, you just send them the first 8 minutes of this game and say that's a typical Premier League game. It's blood and thunder, tackles going in, chances already. I mean, you sacrifice a little bit of quality to, frankly, when it's like this, but it doesn't settle down. It's what makes it the most exciting league in the world.
Aston Villa have got a good recent record against Everton. They are unbeaten in the last 4 meetings, 2 of those victories, 2 draws as well. Last time these two played actually did end up 0-0. Can't see this ending 0-0 based on the first 9 minutes of this one. And down the right hand side comes Cash, tries the cross. That get a touch off of Digne? No, it's gone behind for the goal kick. Jasmir Begovic will take, and he's shown already at the ripe age of 34, the Bosnian, that there's still plenty of life in him as a goalkeeper in the Premier League. His first Premier League start since April 2019 for Bournemouth in a 3-1 loss against Burnley. But he's got good calibre as far as Premier League football is concerned. 63 clean sheets in 252 games. Was given a Premier League title medal. He was part of a Chelsea squad a few years back. You know, he didn't quite play enough games.
Yeah, it's funny actually, because he was the backup goalkeeper to Tommy Sorensen when I was at Stoke.
Yeah.
And he was just, there's no disrespect to anybody else, but he was phenomenal.
Villa coming forward, cross blocked from target by Godfrey.
Yeah, it was we were doing shooting practice, and he literally was the first goalkeeper where you would hit one and think, well, that's in all day long, and somehow he would stop it, and he did it over and over and over again, and eventually he got his chance.
I always think that must be quite disconcerting as a striker in training if you can't score past your own keeper.
No, for me it was. It absolutely was. I actually remember coming out of that session thinking, I'm not at the level that these guys are at. They're just so much better than I am. Yeah, it was funny. Now you ask, bit of a confidence drainer.
Yeah. Weird situation training in that sitch. As Cash takes a throw in for Villa, straight into the arms of the aforementioned Bosnian goalkeeper. Good trainer as well, was he?
Yeah, he's
good pro.
He is a very, very good pro. Very quiet. He's the one. If ever we wanted a night out at Stoke, you'd send Asmir to talk to Tony Pulis, because you couldn't say no to him. It just made sense. He was like a civil servant. It just made sense.
Here's Alan for Everton on the left-hand side, just inside his own half. Deflected ball into the box is easily cut out for Villa, and they come on forward through Douglas Luiz, now into Watkins. That ball's just a little bit behind Jacob Ramsey, keeping his place after, according to Aston Villa's all-time top Premier League goal scorer, Gabiak Bonlahor, made himself undroppable with his performance for Villa against Chelsea last week. And that midfield sort of support role is going to be a good old battle for Aston Villa when everybody's fit. Morgan Sanson still to come back as well, someone they spent big money on in the middle of last season, as a crossfield ball for Villa goes just beyond target, who's out on the right hand side briefly, and that'll be a throw into Everton in their left back position.
Yeah, and it is noticeable though, because Villa, for all intents and purposes, are playing exactly the same way as they've ever done in the Premier League, but when they get into those areas, that's when they're looking for that pass into Grealish, and he's not there. And so they're trying different balls. That one there, way over hit, 60-yard pass, very, very difficult. They're missing that one person to get that extra pass into who can make something happen.
Digne will take this throw in for Everton, who remain unbeaten away from home so far this season in their couple of games so far, winning a draw at Leeds. Scored 2 goals in each of their away games so far this season, and that's 3 if you include the League Cup against Huddersfield. 2-2 against Leeds, 2-0 against Brighton, 2-1 against Huddersfield. They take 2 goals today without both Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, as Keane goes into the back of Ollie Watkins, getting back to full fitness, and who was so important for them last season when he came in from Brentford. And Aston Villa fans are really waiting to get the opportunity to see from the start Watkins, Ings and Buendia, of course, and they will continue to wait for that today. To get a few minutes with that last week, but I wonder whether at some point we will see the triumvirate today. Got a free kick with a chance to deliver a ball into the box today. Matty Cash to take, right hand goes into the sky, chewing gum, midpoint of the Everton half, inside right, squares it to Target, who goes for the long diagonal into the box, header back across goal. This is something off the training ground, and it's half volleyed towards goal by Danny Ings after a bit of constructed head tennis, I think it's fair to say, that they've definitely planned. Ball came into Konsa, right edge of the box towards the byline, he headed it back, Mings down, and then it was Ings who on the outside of his right boot could only volley it over the crossbar.
Well, it's funny because I'm not a fan of that. I think if you've got a chance to put the ball in the box, you only need 1 touch once it's in there. And this was a free kick where there's 4 touches on it before anyone gets a chance to have a shot. And any one of those touches can go wrong. On this occasion, however, they did manage to get a shot. But I just don't see the point of it. Put the ball in the box, get your men running across. If you get across your defender and get there first, you only need 1 touch to score.
They did bring in a set-piece coach over the course of the summer at Aston Villa, and surely one of his doing, as Gray gives the ball to Doucouré, 25 yards from goal, square ball to Luca Digne, who's coming up in support. Now Iwobi, Digne goes on, down by the byline, there's the cross to the back post. Mings couldn't take any chances, although there was nobody coming in behind him, and he heads it behind for a corner. Quarter of an hour gone, 0-0, but good game so far.
Yeah, it's Ramsey that gets caught down this left-hand side. He doesn't go with Digne. You're always taught, just follow, don't look at the ball, follow your man. Just keep hold of your man, and he doesn't. He's ball watching, and he gets caught out, and that allows Digne to get a cross in.
To be taken by Andros Townsend. Chances at both ends from corners so far. Can Townsend create another here? Deep one this time, and it goes towards Keane, who's just headed it wide. Got them back on level terms last week against Burnley. Couldn't quite find the target this time. I think Martinez would have had that covered, and it remains 0-0. It's a goal kick to Aston Villa.
Yeah, it was a definite game plan though there for Everton off the training pitch, because they isolated the back stick and they put Keane and Mina on the back post, and Keane gets the header. We can't really get anything on it, but it was quite worrying for Villa because they didn't know what was happening.
Villa have the ball on the left hand side just inside the Everton half. It's Target now coming inside from the left hand side. Ramsey gives it to McGinn. Coming forward is Mings. Now out to Target again. There's the cross to Ings. Inside left, cuts it back. Nobody running in. He just had to put that one into an area really there, Ings. No time to take a look. And Villa briefly win the ball back as Everton tried to break, but they've given it away, and suddenly it looks like it's 3-on-3. It's Damari Gray going into the Aston Villa area, cross to the back post, rolls it across the 6-yard box. Rondon flings himself at it, can't get the touch, and it goes behind for the goal kick. End-to-end stuff at Villa Park.
Oh, it's a sensational game. It really, really is so open. I mean, from a coach's point of view, it's an absolute nightmare, but for the rest of us, it's brilliant. I'm surprised that ball goes across the box, because I think the shot's on in the far corner. There's so much of the Villa goal open to take the shot on. It's rolled across and it's neither here nor there, is it? It's not a cross and it's not a shot, and Rondon can't get on the end of it.
And we're immediately seeing at the other end the touch by Ings. It was a great first touch to bring it under control, but as I said at the time, it's one of those, isn't it? No time to look up. He's just got to get it into an area and hope someone's running onto it. It all actually run beyond. Nearly 18 on the clock, 0-0 at TalkSport Live if you want to have your say. We've got Art Wellesley listening in from Orange County in California at a big petrol station by the looks of things. He said, sorry lads, it's not exactly an exotic location, and it looks all grey, I have to say.
No.
Nice to have Festus Arthur involved, listening in Accra, Ghana. And Milovan Rajavac has said, also in Ghana, Aston Villa will stop Rafa's Everton today. Lovely to have you along. And one as well from Lagos, Nigeria, which I will read in just a moment, because Villa are coming forward again, and Alan is there to make the interception in the area from the cross, finding Townsend. Outside of him goes Godfrey now waiting for Townsend to make the run in behind, and it allowed Ings in to make the tackle. It's an Everton throw in just inside the Aston Villa half.
Oh, what a pace this game is being played at. So entertaining. I think it's one of the best 20 minutes of football I've seen this season anywhere around Europe, to be honest, and I watch a lot of it. So entertaining.
Message from Son of Earth. I think Everton played good enough football, he says, to qualify for the Europa League, but there are just too many top teams in the league, so they end up falling short. I feel sorry for Everton fans. I mean, that's sort of victims of being English, I suppose, in one sense. But I mean, Everton, make no mistake, this is a bigger club than Leicester, for example. And run right, you've got to think they could be regular challengers to the sort of established Big Six.
Oh, it's huge. It is absolutely huge.
Villa too, to be fair.
Yeah, no, they both are. And the thing is, with both of these football clubs, is that, particularly with Aston Villa, they've all the money in the world. It's only FFP that are stopping them from spending it. I say only, it's a big thing. But they have all the money in the world at their disposal, and they can't spend it. And that's the issue. So what we're going to have to do is trade up eventually.
But why do Man City... Why are they able to spend it?
Oh, honestly, you're going to get me started.
Well, I know, but that's...
Yeah,
there would be Villa
you.
Fans listening in
saying
I'm
with you.
it doesn't make sense. And
I think it's wholly unfair.
Yeah.
Wholly unfair. I think that... I don't understand why one season it was okay for owners to come in, buy football clubs, spend whatever it is that they wanted to get them into a position to be one of the best teams in the world. And then suddenly FFP comes in and it starves everybody else of the same opportunity.
Yeah.
And suddenly, so what you have now is the big clubs are isolated where they are and protected, and everybody else cannot catch up. And I think it's grossly unfair.
The other thing I personally think is unfair, you haven't missed any action, by the way. John McGinn's been receiving some treatment. He's okay. He'll be continuing as Everton come forward after this restart with Digne. There's his cross in. It's blocked away by Konsa into touch on this near side. Just briefly on that, is that, Manchester City's owners, whether you like them or not, they have put money into the club in terms of regenerating a pretty rubbishy old area of Manchester, it has to be said, around where the ground is, as Everton waste that possession high up the field. It's a throw to Villa. But also, if they're prepared to write off that cash, why shouldn't you be able to buy a club and pump your own money into it?
I think that I do understand FFP. What FFP was designed to do was to stop billionaire owners coming in, having a bit of fun, and leaving.
Yes, I understand.
And leaving the club with huge debts that it can't pay.
I understand, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, for example, the money that the Manchester City owners have pumped in to the area around the stadium, at the very least, they've written off. It's not on the club. Why shouldn't they be allowed to do that with the clubs? If they want to go and buy, I don't know, Messi, for example, with their own money, and say the club do not owe us, we will pay him out of our pockets, it's up to us, then that shouldn't be saddling the club with debt. And why shouldn't they be able to do that, if they wish? It's another argument, probably one we could sit and talk about for an entire game, and we have a commentary to do.
No, it is.
It's a frustration.
It's an interesting point, but then I think you come into the realm of sporting integrity.
Yeah.
And I think that's where things, I mean, from my point of view, there's nothing cloudy about it. Sporting integrity has to be at the very heart of our game. But for a lot of people, they would agree with you. If it's your money and you don't mind writing it off, you should be able to do what you like.
Effectively, then you've got somebody owning Messi rather than Manchester City owning Messi, of course, which is...
Well, there's... You and I know there's ways around that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Anyway, let's get back to the action. It is 0-0. We've just passed the midpoint of this first half. Everton have got possession just inside the Aston Villa half on the right-hand side. It's stacked down there, just a little bit too much weight on the pass there from the midfield position that Salomon Rondon had found himself in as he stabbed it down the right for Andros Townsend. Rondon, the Venezuelan, he actually scored on his last Premier League start for Newcastle in 2018. And in fact, he does have 2 goals in his last 3 Premier League games. You just have to go a long way back for it. And he's come in to try and be basically number 2 to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it seems, and he's done okay so far today as Villa play the ball down the left-hand side through Ramsey, but it's into touch. And it's an Everton throw.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, that, because I don't think any Everton fan really would have looked at Demarai Gray, Townsend and Rondon, with all due respect, and been on the edge of their seat, if not leaping in the air at those signings. It just kind of dovetails with all the information that I had, which was there's a huge money-saving programme going on at Everton. They've overspent massively, and I think this is a correction. At the moment, because they've got a wonderful coach in Benitez, it is kind of masking a much bigger problem at Everton.
Yeah, and they've lost £230-ish million over the course of the last 3 years. It's huge money. They're not sort of selling them off and making money back either. There's that feeling about Richarlison, isn't there? Maybe that he'd be attractive to someone like a Real Madrid. How much would he be worth nowadays? As Matt Targett gets unlucky there as he tries a ball in, ricochets off an Everton defender back onto him and out of play for an Everton throw. But definitely real trouble. And Rafa's been quite candid about that, over the course of the last week, talking about he knew there wasn't going to be big money to spend. I mean, they didn't sell anybody particularly over the course of the summer either. Bernard made them £850,000, and then they spent 1.7 on Demarai Gray as a cross comes in for Aston Villa, but a foul in the build-up by Matty Cash. 25 on the clock. Aston Villa 0, Everton 0. All sorts of pictures coming in, Dave. Got a lovely one from northern Wisconsin, USA, from Martin Rudd. Enjoying listening in, and he's in his log cabin in what looks like beautiful woodland. One from Alex Quay, I hope I've pronounced that right. Come on, Everton, 2-1 win, he says. From what to me, there's no description to this. It looks like he's in a museum somewhere.
You better hope that's not his house.
Absolutely extraordinary. If that's a house, I will be amazed. It's got a weird statue of a kind of horse come goat. Anyway, Everton from their goalkeeper play the ball high up down the left-hand side. And Iwobi was into Andros Townsend, whose first touch was too heavy and ran him into Mings. And he's fortunate there, Mings, that he was given the opportunity to get back and help out, and his goalkeeper clears. Only as far as the Everton right-hand side, though, with Godfrey. Into Doucouré. Now here's Townsend, tries to cross, deflected into the box by Ings, but it took all of the momentum out of the cross, and it's hooked clear by Mings. Then up over Watkins comes Mina, and he wins the ball back for Everton, and they've worked it to the left-hand side for Digne now. Oh,
it's so entertaining. It's one of those games that, because of the lack of quality, it's actually more exciting for it. The ball's ricocheting all over the place, there's tackles flying in.
Great to Digne, and he's tried the cute little ball into the box for Iwobi. Yeah, it was straight behind really for a goal kick, wasn't it?
It's thoroughly entertaining, it really is. 27 minutes honestly really have flown by.
Joe Ely listening in on a training run, a 13-mile training run in Wisconsin in the woods. He says Everton will win 2-1. Felipe says this is going to end 2-2 as Watkins comes forward. That's a perfectly timed tackle by Mings. Out only as far as McGinn though, and his shot bent just wide of Asmir Begovic's right-hand post.
I've seen McGinn do that so many times. He takes up that position as good as any midfielder in the Premier League, just on the edge of the box. It's amazing how many times he gets there and he's not detected by anyone. This time he's in acres of space and he tries to bend it, but Allen actually closes him down. He doesn't hit it too well, actually, McGinn. I think on reflection it's one of those ones where you think, I'll place this, and then after the event you think, I should have just put my laces through that.
Scored an absolute worldie against Watford on the opening day of the season, did John McGinn, in a 3-2 defeat, where it gave them a little bit of hope as a ball into that inside left channel for Watkins to chase. He gets there ahead of Mina, then there's the cross, and there's nobody in the box to get there. All their way out to this near side, and Digne with time to pick up, give it to Iwobi, and suddenly it's Everton's time to come forward in this yo-yo match that we're watching at Villa Park this evening. Here's Doucouré, loads of space on the right for Gray if he wants. He's picked out Damari Gray. Gray easily away from target, onto his left foot, tries to shot, doesn't get enough purchase on it, bounces off of Mings and comes out to Doucouré. Doucouré's ball up to the edge of the box. Mings read it well though, comes tearing out down the left hand side, high diagonal ball for Ings on the stretch, couldn't quite bring it down. Throw into Everton, blink and you miss the ball, going from one end of the pitch to the other.
Honestly, what a game of football. Honestly, I'm not going to hold it up as a a flag bearer for the standard of how good professional footballers can be, but in terms of entertainment, it's absolutely brilliant.
JK listening in, saying Everton will win 2-0. Iwobi will score at some point today. And thanks for the work of Guile, who says he's working overtime at the COVID clinic in southern Arizona. Anyone that's doing that deserves our thanks and our praise. He says, I'm rooting for Everton. Much appreciated that you're listening in as well. Hopefully Everton don't score just as you're about to give a shot to somebody.
It's an interesting point, actually, the Iwobi one. I was just looking at him and thinking, do you know, it is getting on for time that he arrives on the scene, isn't he? He sort of flatters to deceive in the last couple of years. I don't think it happened for him at Arsenal. Yeah. I don't think it's happened for him really at Everton.
25 years of age now.
Yeah.
Not totally convinced it's ever going to happen. He's got 9 goals in 48 caps as Townsend delivers a ball into the box. Mings has been imperious in the air so far. Got his head to that one as well. But Everton get it back, and it is out with the aforementioned Iwobi. Running at Cash. A couple of step overs. Ball into the box is poor. We'll come back to the flowing haired Iwobi, back to Digne, there's his cross in towards the back post. That looks like a clash of heads there, and it was Godfrey that went in with Mings, and I just hope that Mings is okay, as helpfully Emiliano Martinez comes in and smashes him with one of his big paws on the side of his head to sort of check he's okay. I think he's going to be alright, is Mings.
Yeah, I think Mings is okay. He took this in the back, whether it was a knee or an arm or something like that, as the header comes in. Yeah, he just gets one in the knock in the back. The big problem here for Aston Villa is Cash, who seems to be holding his groin or his thigh, and that is a problem. That's not an impact injury. That could be a torn muscle.
Target that's down at the moment in his own box.
Yeah, beg your pardon. Yeah,
turned inside out really by Townsend at one point there.
He looks in a bit of distress.
That's a disappointing end to this particular day for him if he can't continue. It's the inside of his left thigh, right at the top of his thigh. Groin, really. Ashley Young, one of those warming up, ready to come on if needed. I should read you the benches, really. Steer is the goalkeeper for Villa. They've got Buendia, Traore, Ashley Young, Marvellous Nakamba, Anwar El Ghazi, always a goal threat him, Courtney Hawes, Leon Bailey, and the young striker Cameron Archer. For Everton, as I mentioned before the game, not able to take up their full quota, so only 8 men for them. Andy Lonergan, who came in the summer, is the substitute goalkeeper with the injury to Jordan Pickford today, of course. John Joe Kenny, Mason Holgate, Andre Gomes, Anthony Gordon, Tom Davis, Jared Branthwaite and Ellis Sims, looking to make his Everton debut, having come through the youth system there. Target limping a little bit. Perhaps it might be better news for Villa fans than it could have been, but we'll have to wait and watch that one.
Yeah, he's going to give it a go, but I just think if you've strained something, if it's not an impact injury and you have strained something, it's not something you can run off. You're only going to make it worse.
13 to half time. It remains Aston Villa 0, Everton 0, as Doucouré wins a header in the defensive midfield position. Back to Mina. Now out to the right hand side for Godfrey. Long one, looking for the run of Gray, and Mings just allowed it to bounce beyond him. He didn't realise Gray was there. A couple of bits of trickery. Somehow he's still got the ball there. He's done really well. Pushed from behind by Mings. Alan delivers the ball into the box, header away by Cash. Surely the referee should have brought that one back for a free kick at that point, but still they go on. Iwobi delivers in towards Rondon. He does get his head to it, but he was sandwiched somewhat between two Aston Villa defenders, and in fact the offside flag has gone up, so it wouldn't have counted had it gone anywhere near the goal anyway.
Yeah, well, Mings is having a go at Martinez for not giving him the call that Gray was behind him, and he's got every right to do that. I mean, if you don't know, someone needs to tell you. But I have to say, I mean, I think Mings is Villa's best defender by a mile, but he's so much better in the middle at the moment. He looks a bit uncomfortable out there.
Yeah, the left of the three.
Yeah, I don't think that's his. I don't think he's a defender that he particularly wants to be in a three. I think you play him as the centre half, and he's the dominant centre half.
It's he with a long ball forward up to Watkins. That's going to come out to McGinn, whose shot is blocked by Keane. Out as far as Cash. Left foot, tried to wrong foot the goalkeeper, went towards the near post, but he's put it wide.
Well, it's a long ball from Mings this time. It's just a hopeful ball more than anything else. It drops down, and who's there again? We said it already. It's McGinn on the edge of the box. He takes up that position. I haven't seen anyone do it as well as him since Paul Scholes, on the edge of the box where he just gravitates there. No one seems to pick him up. Gets his shot off, decent block, and Cash for a minute. He tries to reverse the ball past Begovic, who I think had it covered.
Never scored a goal for Aston Villa as Matty Cash. Now would not be a bad time to do it. As the goalkeeper Begovic clears that one. Tuanzebe beats Rondon to it in the air. Comes back at Everton, and it's Konsa that knocks it forward for Villa. McGinn now moves it left for Target, who does look like he's okay after that treatment. Infield it comes to Ramsey. Jacob Ramsey, wearing the number 41 on his back, just 20 years of age. Villa still come forward. McGinn in that position again. This time he is tracked and dealt with. Alan takes it off of him. Gets a bit fortunate as he turns away from McGinn, that he's found Doucouré, and then pressure on Digne forces the error, and that's an Aston Villa throw, midpoint of the Everton half on the right hand side.
Yeah, well, it should have been an Aston Villa throw, but somehow it's gone to Everton.
It has, yes.
I think Luke Team will be a very relieved man, because he was under pressure there and he didn't make a good fist of getting rid of it.
Wearing the captain's armband today in the absence of Seamus Coleman, the Frenchman, former Barcelona man. Another one they spent decent money on, although actually a bit of a bargain in some ways given what he's offered them at 12 million.
Yeah, definitely.
McGinn, Ramsey, little 1-2 with McGinn. Now he goes out to the left hand side to Target. Watkins dropping away from that high position in the box. Now he'll make his way in as it comes back to Mings, and his cross comes in. Cash heads back into the box. Away it goes by Alan, the Brazilian. Finds Damare Gray. Oh, he's turned Konsa really, really well and found Alex Iwobi, who's chasing away down the left hand side, approaching the edge of the 18-yard box. Drags it onto his left foot. There's the cross deflected behind, corner.
Yeah, you see, that's what I mean with Iwobi. There's a player there for sure. I'm not sure that any of the clubs that he's been at have really known what his best position is, and there he's one-on-one, and he doesn't really do anything too outstanding. It's just a small step over, and it's all a bit of a nothing in the end.
Surely if there's someone to get it out of him, it's Rafa Benitez.
Yeah, I think there is. I definitely think I definitely think there's a player there. I'm just not sure where he fits at the moment. He could be an out-and-out striker. He could be a winger. I'm just not sure.
Corner from the near side will be taken by Damare Gray. Deep ball. Good control that by Yerry Mina in the box. Out it comes, another crossing opportunity. Oh, McGinn's just touched it behind when it was going behind for the goal kick. Corner. Just needed the shout again.
Well, we had a snapshot of it where Mings had a go at Martinez for not giving him a call, that Damare Gray was behind him. Martinez again now. That should be the goalkeeper calling McGinn. Yeah. Just see it out, see it out.
He doesn't leave.
There's no talking there.
Short corner this time to Townsend from Gray. Back to Gray. towards the apex of the 18-yard box on this left-hand side. Makes some space for the cross towards Mina. That was really, really well defended there by Matt Targett, who flung himself at it, nodded it into the sky from his diving header and into the arms of his grateful goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez.
Targett does brilliantly, because he's not the biggest, and when you've got Yerry Mina behind you, you know about it.
Villa coming forward now themselves. Ramsey might come back to him. Needed Iwobi to get in the second challenge, and there's Doucouré. Townsend forward to Rondon, trying to hold off his marker Touan Zabi. Back to Doucouré. He's done really well there as Rondon.
Yeah, brilliant.
Now to Digne. Iwobi hugging the left touchline, moving infield now. Drilled it far too firmly from 3 yards at Gray. McGinn bundles him over, but Everton will continue with Allan. Gray has stayed down. They'll continue inside right with Townsend. Forward he'll come onto his left foot, rolled towards the edge of the box, and Iwobi tried to spin away from Cash, but he's dealt with it really well as the defender, and up it goes towards Ings, who's going to try and spin Mina, but with the help of Godfrey, Toffees have it back. 7 minutes to go before half time, and it remains Aston Villa 0, Everton 0.
The referee's just stopped this. I think McGinn, he might well be going off here, you know.
Yeah. High praise to say that he's makes runs like Paul Scholes. My word, there are superstars of football, the likes of Xavi Hernandez, the likes of Zinedine Zidane, who have said that Paul Scholes is the best they ever played against.
Well, that's one of my favourite quotes of all time, when people ask me who the best player I ever played against. And I just remember Zinedine Zidane winning World Midfielder of the Year. He collected his award on the stage, and they asked him, well, how does it feel to be World Midfielder of the Year? And he said, I don't know, ask Paul Scholes. And it just sums him up. He was a phenomenal player, an absolutely phenomenal player. I mean, McGinn, listen, is not in those echelons.
No.
But his runs stop at the edge of the box. Yeah, his runs stop at the edge of the box, where Scholes went into the box. He scored a hatful of goals doing it as well.
But
McGinn,
well.
yeah, exactly. For a short man, he was just. He started his career as a striker, obviously, so he knew where the goal was. But he's just one of the best players England has ever produced. McGinn, I think, you know, it's like a. He's like a halfway house.
Yeah,
the position he picks up, the positions he picks up on the edge of the box are as good as any midfielder in the Premier League.
Well, the bad news for us neutrals who just enjoy watching good footballers is that he's gone off. A marvellous Nakamba, Zimbabwean, has come on in his place. It's not one of those where he's sort of gone off down the tunnel or anything, so I imagine it's a minor one, relatively precautionary, I would have thought. Some big games coming up, Aston Villa. 3 away games in a row. Chelsea in the League Cup, Manchester United and Spurs are their next 3. They would hope that he could be fit for those. Although a trip to Stamford Bridge as quickly as that, having lost there just last week, would not have been first thing on Dean Smith's list of things he'd wanted, I'd have thought. As I say, Man United and Spurs, it's a kind fixture list for them right now.
Yeah, but you never know.
Gets easier after that. Wolves at home, Arsenal away, West Ham at home, Southampton away. Although Arsenal did win today. So.
Yeah, it's a funny one when you're talking about fixtures, because, you know, if you lose those 2 games, the confidence, you know, going into the easier ones isn't there.
Yeah, absolutely right. You need some sort of result there.
Yeah.
I mean, Villa you would think, and I know it's a difficult one at this stage of the season, but at some point you'd think they'd look at the League Cup and think, we've got to, you know, think that that's an opportunity at winning a trophy.
Yeah, if they have the squad, certainly.
I'm told that the McGinn issue was a concussion.
Yeah, do you know, he got absolutely clattered, and I think it might even have been from that really early on, from the Mings header, actually. It was the second ball he went in on, and he got absolutely smashed in the box. And he hasn't been right ever since, even though actually he's played a pretty solid game.
Free kick to Aston Villa. He floated into the box. Deep it goes. Might have been a Villa touch in there. I think it might have been Konsa on it. But Everton managed to scramble it away. Picked up by Nakamba. Now here's Ramsey. Crossfield ball to Douglas Luiz. One looks over hit. Digne will just shepherd that one out of play, and that's a goal kick to Everton. With 3 minutes before the break, it remains 0-0.
Yeah, I think for all the excitement, suddenly that first goal is looking like a really important one for both teams.
Certainly is. At this moment in time, it hasn't come yet. So it'll be a Begovic goal kick. Begovic will clear that one away for Everton. They do win the ball. It's with Iwobi. Good looking ball by Alan that's come out to the left hand side for Digne. Controlled it nicely. Back to the Brazilian. And he goes crossfield to Godfrey. And this in the Aston Villa half. One outside of him in Townsend, who he uses now, former England international, Doucouré. Godfrey gets a bit of luck with a attempted ball in field, and with his second touch he crosses it straight into the arms of the goalkeeper, who bowls out to Douglas Luiz. Looks like he's going to come forward, runs into Doucouré there. Here's Alan in the centre circle. Now it's Demarai Gray. He's got Iwobi outside of him. Gray instead moves towards Townsend. He might line one up from distance straight into the arms of Emiliano Martinez.
Oh, he knew exactly what was coming as well. The moment, because I think Demarai Gray goes the wrong way here, because he's got two overlapping him out on the left, and he runs back into traffic. But Townsend reads it, comes inside. There's only one thing he's got on his mind after last week, is to try and hit another perler. Just doesn't get enough on it.
Alan delivers a ball. It's way over hit. It goes out of play for a goal kick.
I think when you have scored a goal like that as well, you're entitled to it. You get a couple of freebies in the next game.
On the right hand side, Villa have it with Konsa. Back to Tuanzebe. Now in the centre circle, here's Ramsey. And they've worked it left for Target into the run of Ings in that left channel. Takes it to the byline. Little trick to turn away from Mina, but then he runs out of ground. And it's a goal kick to Everton.
It's not really working, is it? Ings and Watkins together.
Not so far. It's certainly a partnership that you feel has potential, though, don't you?
Well,
too similar, perhaps.
I think there's too much for the rest of the team to carry. Frankly, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just think sometimes you can afford to carry a goal scorer who, is not in the game with every passing move, but suddenly bang bang, it's 2-0.
Yeah.
And I think at the moment, I don't think Villa are a good enough team to carry two players like that.
They'll certainly wear out defences, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll chase everything, absolutely. But I just think it's, you need. Teams these days are playing one up front very often, and there's a reason for that.
I should point out, going back to the McGinn substitution, that's officially a concussion substitute, and of course that means they've still got their full quota of changes available to them for the rest of the game, Aston Villa.
Yeah, I think it might be.
It's the new rule as the ball goes into the box towards Townsend, just a shade over hit by Alan. It runs into the arms of Martinez.
Oh, he might think he should do better there, Townsend. Certainly when I looked at that coming onto his left foot, and it's a wand of a left foot, and he miscontrols it. If he takes that down, he'll get the shot off, no problem.
Mings found Ings, and he's done brilliantly. Tight to the touchline over on the far side to turn Godfrey. Finds Watkins. Now here's Cash. Cash, why didn't he shoot? He's tried to cross. He's just overhit it straight out of play, far side for a throw to Everton. A minute of 2 at stoppage time gone, and that felt like a chance for Aston Villa to open the scoring just before the break.
Well, that is a player who's not used to scoring. What did you say? He hasn't scored for Villa yet?
No, not yet.
And that shows the ball. They worked it really, really well. Get the overlap, and when you get that overlap, you need an end product. The person who finally gets on the end of it has to shoot, and he doesn't. I don't know what he does. Crosses it out for a throw-in.
Yeah, can't fire that. At least sort of, back post. Hope that it might go in, and hope that someone gets a touch, and it's something like that.
Yeah, especially at this stage of the game as well. As the whistle's about to go for half time, get a shot off.
Villa have a throw with Target, midpoint of the Everton half over on the far side. Ings. This has flown by the first 45 minutes as Targett just sort of turns his back on Townsend, barges him off and then moves it on, gives it to Ings. Everton win it back, should just about be that. Craig Pawson will look at his watch no doubt in a moment, and we should get ourselves to the break as the ball runs out of play. And there goes the half-time whistle on what has been just a thrilling encounter. We'll have plenty of discussion on it at half-time, but at the break it is Aston Villa 0, Everton 0, and you're listening to Premier League Live.
Got an unquenchable thirst for sport? Get up to speed with the day's biggest sports stories with the Talk Sport Hit. Crammed full of the latest team news, big match previews, and discussing the day's hottest topics.
Been improving week in, week out.
Plus, get all the latest results and full fan reaction to the biggest events in world sport.
It's a wonderful goal!
Satisfy your thirst for sports news with the Talk Sport Hit. Subscribe now on Acast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Talk Sport. 20 years old and still not able to make a cup of tea.
That's a great starting point, I think. Excuse me.
With bitter experience comes great responsibility.
Let's go to Cumbria and Fraser. Fraser, good morning. Hello. Fraser, get out of that lane.
The nation's first and best commercial sports radio station.
Live, lubricated and legendary.
20 years of Talk Sport. Previously on White and Jordan.
This is rewarding mediocrity.
No, it's not. It's the exact opposite.
Two towering giants of sports media.
He's got COVID-19. He's got Newcastle wanting to sue him. He's got broadcasters pulling money out of deals left, right and centre. You wouldn't want to fly with this guy, would you?
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Double trouble, daily drama and searing debate. Continues weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport. 20 years of Talk Sport.
Gentlemen, good evening.
There's no such thing as an overnight success.
Accrington Stanley 4, Titanium Plasmatronic Death Droids from the Future 0.
Excess.
I wasn't getting up, I was just getting in.
Excitement.
Excuse me,
and extremely strong opinions.
I spend my life covering the big game at the big level.
On DAB, medium wave, and on your smart speaker. 20 years of Talk Sport. Previously on White and Jordan.
If you haven't bought, owned, managed, sold a player, managed a football club, sat in a boardroom, sat in a dressing room, what exactly do you know?
100% engagement.
The Football League is a league which is a busted flush.
You're obsessed with that subject, you do know that.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. High Octane Radio. Continues weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
The Women's Football Weekly Podcast.
With Faye Carruthers. All the action, excitement and drama from across the entire women's game.
Cleared off the line by Steph Horton.
Including the Women's Super League.
Ella Price is there to tap it in.
The UEFA Women's Champions League.
Lana Clellan striking from outside the penalty area.
And the Euro 2021 qualifiers.
On the edge of the area to Emsley, and Emsley's going to finish it off.
Plus, all the home nations' international friendlies.
Lucy Bronze with the strike from the edge of the penalty area.
World-beating big match conversation.
There's Jodie Taylor.
Subscribe now to the Women's Football Weekly Podcast on Acast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I think this is known as a great advert for the Premier League. Now they go down the right-hand side, chasing onto that one. Godfrey gives it to Townsend on his left foot, down the right again for Godfrey. Into the box it goes for Rondon, who just couldn't get a second touch right as he turned the defender and tried to stab towards goal. And he's claiming it was a corner, but it was far too easy for Everton to walk through the Aston Villa defence there.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you change your formation at the back.
Douglas Luiz to take this corner, the Brazilian with the right foot over on the Aston Villa left, and an in-swinger it'll be. Here it comes, in towards the near post. Mings pushes it towards goal, pushed out by the keeper, still not completely clear, behind it goes. It's gone for a corner. That's a really, really good save by Asmir Begovic.
Wonderful flying one-handed right-hand save to push it away.
And Villa briefly win the ball back as Everton tried to break, but they've given it away, and suddenly it looks like it's 3-on-3. It's Damari Gray going into the Aston Villa area, cross to the back post, rolls it across the 6-yard box. Rondon flings himself at it, can't get the touch, and it goes behind for the goal kick. End-to-end stuff at Villa Park. thoroughly enjoyable, Dave Kitson, but no goals so far. I genuinely don't know who'll be happier right now.
Oh, brilliant. I mean, from an entertainment point of view, absolutely, as a spectacle, it's as good as anything that's happened come before it in the Premier League this season. It really is. But there's just a little bit of a lack of quality, which I think is actually giving rise to a better game in a bizarre sense. But when the ball gets into the box, there is a noticeable lack of quality. There really is. I think both teams at the moment, I think the longer this game goes on, it's really showing on the players' faces that whoever gets this first goal is in with a really, really good chance of winning this game.
And it does feel like a goal might come, doesn't it? This isn't one of those where we're sitting here going, oh no, not another 45 of this.
No, honestly, it's the most entertaining 0-0 you're ever going to see. It's fantastic. It just needs someone to bring a little bit of quality to proceedings in the final third, and the game is there for the taking for both teams.
Well, look, there was only 1-0 earlier on today. That came at the Etihad. Manchester City against Southampton. Some big results elsewhere. Brentford winning 2-0 at Wolves. A win for Arsenal. Second consecutive 1-0 win at Burnley this time, after beating Norwich last weekend by the same scoreline. Who ever heard of 1-0 to the Arsenal, by the way? Watford 3-1 winners at Norwich, side they came up with last season, pretty comprehensive in the end for the Hornets, their second win of the season. And then there was our main game at Anfield, where Liverpool played Crystal Palace. Your match commentator for this one was Russell Hargreaves.
Liverpool 3, Crystal Palace 0. The Reds now top of the table with 13 points from a possible 15 after Jurgen Klopp's men pulled off an ultimately convincing win despite not being at their best. Sadio Mane's opener will grab the headlines with the Senegalese reaching the notable landmark of 100 goals in Liverpool colours. It came through Mo Salah's effort being saved, with Salah then adding the second after good work from Mane 12 minutes from time, and that's Mo up to 99 Premier League goals for the Reds himself. Naby Keita's sumptuous strike from distance, but even more late gloss on the scoreline. But I can't fail to mention one of the worst misses you could ever see by Diogo Jota, who with the scoreline still level managed to sky the ball over the bar from 2 yards out with the goal practically unguarded. Oh dear. Palace also missed a sitter themselves through sub Odsonne Edouard. The Eagles also clipped both posts during a frenetic opening, and at 0-0 had a strong Christian Benteke penalty appeal turned down against his former side. The Eagles have now lost 9 straight in the Premier League against Liverpool, who took this one 3-0 at Anfield.
Another case of Mo Mane, Mo problems for Liverpool. 3-0 winners over Crystal Palace, and yes, I went there. Currently, Everton will be behind Liverpool in the table tonight, but 2 points behind because they are not winning our game that they are involved in at the moment. They're at Aston Villa. It is half-time. It is 0-0. Worth pointing out that we do have more commentaries coming up for you tomorrow. You never miss a kick of the Premier League. Always here with us on Premier League Live. We've got Brighton Leicester for you, West Ham Man United, and then arguably the game of the weekend as Tottenham host Chelsea. Let's hear from the European champions boss, Thomas Tuchel, on this London derby.
Well, let's see who can play and who cannot play. It's still 2 days to go. I'm actually not so much involved in speculations and don't get too involved in predictions who will play and who will not play. We are facing a tough opponent. It's a London derby. We had a great result in the last season. We will try everything to repeat it. But no matter who plays, some players came also back, and they will do everything to have their players back on the pitch. So we expect a tough side and a big crowd and a great match to play.
This one, I think, will be a really, really interesting one, Dave. Tottenham, we know that it's not necessarily settled for them as yet since Nuno Espirito Santo came in, but at home they will always fancy their chances, you would have thought, however well Chelsea or however good Chelsea look so far this season.
Well, they'll raise their game, certainly, but they've got some key injuries. Son is a massive loss. He really got injured on international duty, but the record against Chelsea in recent years hasn't been too bad. It's picked up a little bit, but look, we're talking about the reigning European champions, a lot of people's favourite for the Premier League as well. They haven't lost and they're scoring goals. It's a difficult one for Spurs. I thought the performance against Crystal Palace was frankly embarrassing, and I speak as a Tottenham fan, so I can say that. But Spurs aren't there. They're not at Chelsea's level. I do expect Chelsea to be too strong for them.
Are Chelsea your favourites at the moment?
Well, given what I've seen of Man City, Man City were my favourites, and then when Spurs beat them, I thought, you get into that kind of get suckered in. Maybe Spurs have got a good team this season, and then Man City go and draw against Southampton at home, and you think, it wasn't as good a result as we thought.
At that point, we were still saying they're going to sign Harry Kane, weren't we? And, now we're
now they're talking about giving him signing a new contract at Spurs. So it's what a mess. It is an absolute mess. So, but I don't know. Look, I'd love Harry Kane to stay. If he stays, he'll become Tottenham's record goal scorer. But if he doesn't win any trophies, can you say it's a waste of a career? It seems really, really harsh.
So what are we thinking then? Chelsea or Liverpool for you right now?
No, I think Chelsea are too strong. I think Chelsea are so strong, and I think with Lukaku, they've added what was missing last season, which is Werner try as he might. I think he had 13 disallowed goals. If you've got a striker who actually knows where the offside line is, you've just bought yourself 13 goals, and I think that is going to be the big difference.
Sometimes I look at Liverpool and I think that the 11 is the strongest, but maybe not necessarily the squad. It will all play out this season. Of course, you won't miss a minute, I should say, with us here on Premier League Live, and that is who you're listening to at the moment. Half time at Villa Park, it's 0-0. You're listening to Premier League Live.
From the terraces to the touchline, if you're the ultimate football fan, you need to subscribe to the Game Day podcast from TalkSport.
Oh yes! He's done it again!
It's the twice-weekly Premier League roundup that brings you big-name guests, in-depth previews and tough-tackling analysis from the world's biggest football league.
Oh, what a finish! He's beaten the keeper to it!
Feel the might of the top flight. Subscribe now to the Game Day podcast. Available on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Get bowled over with Following On, the fast-paced cricket podcast from TalkSport that'll hit you for 6. It's a pitch-perfect delivery of first-class cricket news.
And that's a beautiful straight drive.
Boasting an impressive strike rate of exclusive big-name guests.
Oh, you little ripper!
And fielding fierce fan reaction.
Oh, that might be out.
Don't get caught out. Subscribe now to the Following On podcast. Available on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
They faced bitter prejudice.
What they had to endure was horrific.
They battled injustice.
Basically, they threw the rule book away.
But their talent was inextinguishable, and they rose to become sporting icons that etched their legacy on the history of English football.
What a strike! What a finish!
Coming in from the cold is an exclusive 6-part documentary that chronicles the struggles and the triumphs of black footballers in the English game. Join Jessica Crichton as she uncovers the untold stories and hears firsthand from a host of superstar names, including John Barnes, Viv Anderson, Luther Blissett, Andy Cole, Rachel Yankee, John Fashanu, and many more.
These guys went through it all, and they are true inspiration.
Coming in from the cold, the history of black footballers in the English game. Listen to the full series now, available on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Tom Rennie here to tell you about a new soccer podcast called Week in the Tackle with me and Brian Dunseth.
That's right, Tom. Well, join us for new episodes every Monday as we argue about all the top soccer stories we think are worth tackling.
Plus, we'll welcome the occasional guest to join in on the debate.
Strong opinions, big stories, no agenda.
Week in the Tackle, available on Mondays from wherever you get your podcasts.
If it's a big story in soccer, we'll tackle it.
Got an unquenchable thirst for sport? Get up to speed with the day's biggest sports stories with the TalkSport hit. Crammed full of the latest team news, big match previews, and discussing the day's hottest topics.
Been improving week in, week out.
Plus, get all the latest results and full fan reaction to the biggest events in world sport.
It's a wonderful goal!
Satisfy your thirst for sports news with the TalkSport hit. Subscribe now on Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You are listening to TalkSport's coverage of Aston Villa against Everton from Villa Park. I'm Toby Gillis, your match commentator today. We've got Dave Kitson, former Premier League striker, alongside me. This is Premier League Live. It is 0-0 at the break. It's a fascinating clash of styles so far. and it's really been a lack of quality in front of goal that has seen it remain scoreless so far. Not short on opportunities, but so far the goal scoring sheet has been untroubled. It remains 0-0. Dave, it's one of those, isn't it, where you think to yourself, surely they're both going to stick for the time being, but when might one of them twist?
Well, I think, looking at Villa, thinking they're the home team, it's on them, isn't it, to go after Everton. I'm just not sure if they've got it's the confidence, really. I'm just not sure they've got the confidence to do it. They've won 1 of 5. Well, this is being the 5th game. They've won 1 game, and I think there's just too much riding on it for them. If they lose it, I think they might even just be happy with a draw. But they've got the players on the pitch, Ings and Watkins, where they get a chance. You fancy them to score a goal, but that 5 at the back, it is a 5. It's not a 3 with 2 wing backs. It has been a 5 for most of that first half, and I just don't think they've got enough support.
And if, of course, they don't go on to win, it will be a really disappointing start to the season for them. Just 5 points from their opening 5 games if they were to draw it, or worse. But it definitely feels like first goal may well be what puts this game beyond whoever concedes it. And we are now back underway with Everton shooting from left to right in this second half. In their change strip, the white jerseys, dark shorts and socks, and Aston Villa in their claret and blue jerseys, white shorts, blue socks, and it is they who have possession at the moment, with Mings heading into the evening sky in the West Midlands in Birmingham, where Aston Villa are based. And the ball is taken down in the midfield by Marvellous Nakamba, moved out to the right hand side. Let's quickly run you through the Aston Villa side. It's Martinez in goal, Konsa, and Xavier Mings the back 3, and it's Cash, Ramsey, Luiz, Nakamba and Target across the midfield, and Ings and Watkins up top as Ramsey tries to get the ball into the box, blocked behind by Doucouré for a corner to Aston Villa. Everton are playing effectively a 4-4-2 with Begovic in goal, Godfrey, Mina, Keane and Digne. Then it's Townsend, Allan, Doucouré and Iwobi, with Damare Gray supporting Salomon Rondon up front. Douglas Luiz will take this corner for Aston Villa, their 3rd of the game. Came very close to opening the scoring through Mings from one of these in the first half. It's going to be another in-swinging delivery towards Mings. It's bobbling around in the box, out as far as Ings, edge of the area, taken off of his toes by Damare Gray. And Villa will build again from the left-hand side, midpoint of the Everton half. Delivered up to the edge of the box by Target. Header away is by Mina. Picked up by Cash, 10 yards inside the Everton half. Up to Watkins. Tackle comes in there on Konsa by Keane. Still Villa have it, though. They work it left. There's loads of space here for Luiz. Right foot, bending ball. Just wondered if it was going to dip into the far corner of the net. It ended up drifting just beyond the far post. And behind it goes for a goal kick for Asmir Begovic.
No, it's not a bad ball really from Luiz, but when I'm looking in the box at Watkins and Ings, they're so far apart. One of them's on this side of the box, the other one's on the far side of the box. There's nobody in the middle where you want both of them.
Everton have won 3 of their last 6 visits to Villa Park. Decent record recently when you consider that they won just 1 of the first 20 when they came here in the Premier League era. Villa looking for their 50th home league win against Everton. Made 103 up to now, won 49 of them in the league. Everton with 28 victories at Villa Park in their league history here, as Doucouré takes the ball high up the field. Good pressing that by Everton. Townsend's touch lets him down. Target gets in, and there goes the ball out to the right hand side for Douglas Luiz. Cuts inside Allan. 2 Brazilians going at it. Craig Pawson nearly gets in the way there, but he's stepped out of it quickly enough to allow Luiz to spread it to the left for Target. Now here goes Ramsey into the area, tries the cross, blocked away by Godfrey. Into touch near side, throw into Aston Villa high up the field.
Well, he started really well actually, Ramsey, on this left hand side. He's causing Everton some problems. A couple of times He's trying to get the cross in. It's been blocked once for a corner, once for a throw.
Cash will come over to take it. Proponent of the long throw. Given a towel from the ball boy with which to dry the ball and get a good enough purchase, and then of course drops it short to Luiz, who has wasted the whole thing with a flick that went nowhere near Cash, and away it goes for an Everton throw from their right back position. 49 on the clock, Villa 0, Everton 0. Do get back in touch with us on Twitter at TalkSport Live is your Twitter account to get in touch. All messages greatly received. We like to have your photos as well. We've had plenty come in, and join in the conversation with each other if you can, as it's turned round the corner by Watkins to Ings, but he couldn't bring it under his control. Out as far as the camber. Now he's Cash on the far side. Iwobi forces him back to Konsa, and now here's Tuanzebe in the centre circle to the left and just inside the Everton half for Mings. Up the left-hand touchline to Target. Mings again up to Watkins, bit awkward, but it's going to come back to Mings. Townsend read the pass though and passes it away to Rondon. Holds it up away from Ramsey. Doucouré bobbles it out to the left-hand side for Digne. Tries to get it back at him, and the Frenchman loses out. Here's Cash trying to force his way away from Digne into the midfield for Nakamba. Nakamba out to the left for Target. Time to pick a cross off. Mina away. Neither side can string more than about 3 passes together at this moment in time.
No, that's what I'm talking about. It's high entertainment because it's low on quality. The ball is going all over the place. Neither team can keep it, but that's what makes it so entertaining.
I could get in one of these two sides, the quality that we're seeing at the moment. My word. It's stoppage in play at the moment. Craig Shakespeare joining Dean Smith on the sidelines, his assistant, to have a chat. Rafa Benitez dressed in a suit and tie, watching on a loan, always standing, always analysing. He's not the sort of coach that goes around, trying to get love out of his players, trying to put his arm around them. Steven Gerrard was fascinating when he talked about him after his career finished. Said, he definitely got the best out of me, but he wasn't the one that I loved the most. That was Gerard Houllier, in terms of, making me feel $1 million as a man. That's not Rafa's style. It's just all about the team and getting the best out of his players on the pitch.
Yeah, it's true, but it's strange, isn't it? Those two different styles, and both of those managers won a lot of trophies with Liverpool.
Yeah, Rafa is veteran now of 7 major trophies, if you like, over the course of his career. The Champions League, the UEFA Cup, the Europa League, a couple of La Ligas with Valencia, the FA Cup, won the Italian Cup with Napoli. In fact, after one of those La Liga titles, when he was at Valencia, he was named FIFA World Best Club Coach back in 2003-04. Villa have got themselves a free kick, right hand side, midpoint of the Everton half, towards Mings, headed away by Everton as far as Target. A little bit of trickery by Ramsey. Can he get the cross in? No. A couple of Evertonians closing down, and then Townsend clears, and there's no focal point right at this moment for Everton, because Rondon was out helping the defence, and so loads of time there for Martinez to pick the ball up. They've worked it from right to left. High ball up to Target. There's his cross. And Watkins is in there. Needed the diving header away by Mina because Ings was closing in. Everton bring it away. And then a little bit of trickery by Alan. He's brought down by his opposite number, Douglas Luiz. And that's going to be a free kick to Everton. Midpoint of their own half, inside left.
Well, that's a high hanging cross from Target. And Ollie Watkins does really well to get himself in between Luca Dean and Keane at the back post to head this back down into a really good area. And Ings, in fairness, he's on his toes, he's anticipating it. Yerry Mina, hands to the bump, dives at it, diving header. You don't see many diving header clearances from centre halves these days. More's the pity, but he makes a really good job of it.
Long ball forward by Everton. Mings always going to beat Andros Townsend to that one. Somebody we know very, very well at Talk Sport. As a regular on the breakfast show. Very, very nice man as well as Andros Townsend. Always thinking about the game and always very honest about his own game as well. And he has found Damari Gray there. Well, my word, Damari Gray looked like he had spun away from Konza. He got pulled back and then Konza just let go, realising he was last man. And had Gray then not moaned about it, he could have just run in behind and scored, surely.
Well, it's a foul every single day of the week. It's one of those fouls that you would even get in training, where you don't get anything, but you would get it in training. It's that blatant. I don't know what the officials are playing at here. I mean, how many arms do you have to have around the waist of a striker?
My word. That is... I mean, I completely agree. You know, Gray has to be given the free kick, but also play to the whistle, and he had a chance to run on through there. As Everton go long up towards the Villa box, it's headed away by Konsa. Townsend then goes in on it, and I think Ramsey has caught him. It's a free kick to Everton.
Oh, there's a really, really nice little bit of needle to this game, I have to say. That's a bad one from Mings, actually. That should be a yellow.
Well, we're seeing these, and you and I commentated on the Liverpool-Chelsea game, didn't we? I think it was Fabinho in that game. We said, how many times is he going to give away free kicks that are worthy of a bookie? And we counted 3 in the end. Yeah. Should have been sent off and a half. And it seems that these referees are just deciding, you know what, I'm not going to give cards out anymore with the new ruling of sort of, letting things flow much more. Although, having said that, it was Craig Pawson last week that sent off Pascal Struijk for that challenge on Harvey Elliott, which I think most people thought was probably not a red card offence.
Yeah, he's had a bad couple of games, actually.
But this is a free kick with shooting potential. Alan is over it, but you've got to think Townsend would be the favourite, it being right of centre. And it's a decent way out, probably fully 30 yards, you'd say. Townsend running up to it, striking it into the wall, and it bounces a long, long way behind where he took the free kick from. In fact, he doesn't actually catch up with it till it got to the halfway line. He's forced all the way back to his goalkeeper Begovic, who goes long. Mings will allow that one to bounce once, twice, 3 times behind him, and there's Emiliano Martinez. 11 gone in this second half. It's Aston Villa 0, Everton 0. You're listening to Premier League Live at Talk Sport Live. To join us and our debate on Twitter, when's this first goal going to come? Give us a minute and who it's going to be scored by. Douglas Luiz chasing down the right hand side. Alan just outruns him and forces him to ground and then clears. There's the flick header on by Rondon to Damari Gray. Tuanzebe forces him wide. A little bit of trickery by Gray. Surely he is fouled this time. Yeah, Tuanzebe brings it down. The Manchester United loanee giving away the free kick, and that's going to go Everton's way on this left hand side. Simply beaten by an actual bit of quality, Dave Kitson.
Yeah, brilliant from Damari Gray. He's looked very, very lively, and you can see how he's scored his goals, because he's right on the shoulder and he never gives you a minute's rest.
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying this in terms of quality yet, but you can see that they're almost trying to do a Richarlison with him, aren't they? Turn a winger into a striker, at least in this game.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, and it will make the Everton fans actually, I think if they do lose Richarlison at some point, it will cushion the blow.
Townsend with a cross from the right hand side, and it's behind for a goal kick. Certainly come in and impressed. 3 goals in consecutive games for Damari Gray. As Aston Villa's cohort on the coaching bench are all crowding round a notepad.
Yeah, the smallest notepad known to man.
Making a decision about what substitute they're going to make potentially. They've already made one, that concussion substitution made in the first half of John McGinn coming off Marvellous Nakamba on. Villa give the ball away. And Decore picked it up. Gave it to Rondon. Now here's Gray coming in from the left-hand side. Rondon had picked up a lovely position.
He really had.
Fizz it in, but didn't have either the confidence or maybe just didn't spot it. And they'll work it right. Godfrey to Townsend. Decore. Townsend. Godfrey. Little trick. Finds Townsend again. Can he keep it in? Whips it in right-footed. Decent work to just keep it in, but it's into the arms of the goalkeeper. Wasted by Aston Villa as they tried to break. Iwobi picks up Anonymous in this second half. He's found Gray. Iwobi goes through, stabs towards goal. Martinez made the save. It was going wide. It wouldn't have counted, or wouldn't have gone in anyway. And it is a comfortable claim in the end for the Argentine goalkeeper. Well, we are seeing a change that is about to be made by Aston Villa. That target, we understand, is going to come off, and it will be Leon Bailey that comes on. So that's a change of system, you would think.
Yeah, possibly. He did pick up that knock. He seems to have run it off, but as we said at half time, I just don't think that Villa are at their best with this back five. I just don't think they need it, frankly. I think they can afford to push a man further forward.
Well, I'm sure that's what they're going to do. Here's Mings. Tries to fizz one into Watkins. It's just ahead of him. Keane touches it back to his goalkeeper, and again Begovic just rushed that, and it's all the way through to his opposite number, or opposite goalkeeper anyway. Begovic wearing 15. Martinez in number 1 for Villa. He's been a steal, hasn't he, Martinez? My word.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keeper he is.
Yeah. A lot of people looking at Arsenal there, wondering how that one got away, or why it got away. Very odd.
Up spending big money on Aaron Ramsdale this summer, so it seems that even Mikel Arteta isn't convinced by Ben Leno anymore, as target is tripped by Ben Godfrey there. Don't know what he's moaning for. He was definitely late. Free kick to Aston Villa. That may be his last chance of action target. Certainly is. And here comes the change. So another half hour for Bailey. He's had 64 minutes of Premier League football so far since arriving at Aston Villa. Former Bayer Leverkusen man. Dean Smith has spoken about how he's confident that Bailey will get up to speed, but he does say it takes an adjustment period. So how do we see that? In a way, it could be a straight swap, but he's certainly going to play higher up the pitch, you would think.
Yeah, what an ovation that is from these Villa fans. Certainly an exciting player. And the game needs a match winner, frankly.
And it's going to be potentially his first touch will be this free kick as well, Bailey. It is. Here's the delivery up towards Mings. Header away by Keane to the far side. It'll be picked up by Ramsey. The right hand side, it's Ramsey once more. There's the cross. Mings with the flick at the near post, but he was never looking like troubling the goalkeeper, and it's gone well wide for a goal kick. Still 0-0, but as good a 0-0 as you're going to have in the Premier League, I think, this season at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if this game does finish like this, both managers will be kicking themselves, because this was an opportunity to win a game. It's been there since the first minute for both teams to win.
And Andre Gomes is going to come on, the Portuguese. Never quite got back to his absolute best, I think it's fair to say, after that horrible injury that he got early on in his Everton career. This is his 4th consecutive substitute appearance for Everton. He's come on for Salomon Rondon. And there's his first touch over on the far side to find Demarai Gray, and it's a foul on him that gives a free kick Everton's way. So no focal point of the attack for Everton anymore, and I just wonder how that's going to fit as far as a reshuffle for them. Here's Yerry Mina stepping away from Ings. Former Liverpool man. If this was Goodison, you'd know all about it every time Ings had the ball. Everton go long to Iwobi, who looks like he's taken up the mantle high up the field. He's on the right hand side at the moment. Away from Tuanzebe. His ball in is easily away by Mings as far as Alan. Now to the left for Digne. Gray on the left. Iwobi and Townsend, the options in the middle, but surely delivers into the box like that and never going to get headers on the ball now. with Townsend and Iwobi trying to attack them, and that one's gone behind anyway for a goal kick.
It's at times like this where you can really see how much they miss Calvert-Lewin getting in there, getting his head on things, making those runs, asking questions of defenders. Everton haven't done it nearly enough. They just don't have the personnel up front to do it.
Well, at this moment in time, Gomes seems to have offered himself as an attacking option as well. I mean, Rafa Benitez certainly experimenting with everybody.
Yeah, this is a new one.
Jogging back into midfield at this moment, though. Here's Mings. It goes to Watkins, given away, and Everton will flood forward, you know. Here comes Townsend attacking Tyrone Mings. Townsend's ball onto the edge of the box. Here's Gray inside the area. He's tried to just cushion pass it into the back of the net, and he's just put it wide of the left-hand post of the flying goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez.
Well, I know exactly what he's trying to do, just cut in on his right foot and bend it round. I need to see this from behind the goal to see actually whether or not this angle was on.
He opened it up really well, you know.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. It needs to go 2 foot the other way, and I'm not entirely sure that angle was on. Such was the Villa defending. They all got their angles right.
Here's Marvellous Nakamba. 0-0. 25 minutes plus stoppage time left for play. Ings. Douglas Luiz's first time ball into Cash, who's in behind the defender Digne, and then left-footed smashes home to open his account for Aston Villa in some style. Well, in the first half he had a chance, and he just didn't fancy shooting. You just wonder whether Dean Smith has said to him, do that again, and I'll be furious with you, because this time he's opened up onto his left foot and smashed Aston Villa into the lead. Villa 1, Everton 0.
It's the best move of the game by a country mile. Movement off the ball, concise passing. It starts at the back. Oh, it's a wonderful move. It really is. A little 1-2. He gets behind Lucas Digne. Lucas Digne's in an awful position. He gets caught the wrong side and he can't get back. Cash cuts inside. And in my head I'm going, square it, because in the middle there's an open goal. And he doesn't. He takes it on his left foot. And what did I say in the first half? You can tell why he hasn't scored for Aston Villa. Well, he has now. And what a way to do it.
His first goal since February 2020, when he scored in the Championship for his old club Nottingham Forest against a West Midlands side, West Brom. This time he scored 4-1, and he's given Aston Villa a crucial lead in a game against unbeaten Everton. We questioned him, didn't we, in the first half? Does he just not fancy it? Well, my word, he might start hitting them a bit more frequently now.
Well, the game needed a match winner. It really needed somebody to step forward, and I think the match winner was going to come from someone who's simply just had enough of the status quo in this game. And that's Cash. When was the last time you saw him do that? Marauding down that right wing, cutting inside onto his left foot. He never does it. Just seems to have had enough. Smashes the ball high and very handsome into the back of the net. What a goal.
He just had that desire, didn't he, to get in beyond Digne, and great upper body strength to hold off the French fullback. Some hit that by Matty Cash, and you can hear the reaction that the 24-year-old's first goal for the club has managed to get out of the Aston Villa faithful. And Villa have taken a quick free kick here to Cash, right-hand side. He's just smashed that one as well against Digne from the tightest of angle. That's gone behind for the corner kick, but he's just fancying this now. Anything will do. Hit it from anywhere.
Yeah, I remember those days as a striker. You score one, and it's like I was saying earlier, you actually get a little freebie next time. You can shoot from anywhere, and if you miss, it doesn't matter, because you can just say, well, I've already scored.
Corner to Villa, fourth one of the game. Far side, they're right. Be an in-swinging delivery from Leon Bailey. What can the Jamaican do? And it goes. Oh, it's an own goal! It's an own goal! I'm sure it came off of Digne last. Mings is celebrating, but he goes to Leon Bailey, and it's the Jamaican that gets the acclaim. 2 goals in about 2 minutes. I'm sure it's a Digne own goal. Doesn't matter though. All that matters news, as far as Villa are concerned, is that they lead Everton by 2-0.
Well, Lucas Dean has just had the worst 2 minutes of his career. To compound the fact that he was out of position when Cash scored, this time he glances it into his own goal. Begovic has got absolutely no chance. It's that close to him. He can do nothing about it. He's not expecting Digne to head this. But the quality of this ball from Bailey from the corner is absolutely out of this world. When he came on, he hit from a cold start a free kick that was right on the money. His delivery's been superb. This time it's an in-swinger. The ball, honestly, it's so good that Lucas Digne really can't do anything about it. If he doesn't touch it, someone else does.
There was nobody really close to him, Digne, but it's one of those where you can't be aware of it. And Everton have gone to sleep here. They're giving the ball away again. Oh my, Ramsey so close to making it 3 as he bore down on goal. Maybe could have had another touch, but he went for it from 20 yards, just on the edge of the D. And Everton need to wake up, or this could turn into a rout.
Well, Everton have gone to pieces.
So close.
Everton have absolutely gone to pieces. It's unbelievable. It's frightening, actually. If you're Rafa Benitez watching this, where's your midfield gone? There's holes opening up all over the place. Now, you need to get a grip on this.
They've got ball at the moment. Townsend tries the reverse pass into Doucouré. It's overhit and beyond him and behind for a goal kick. So 20 minutes to go, and this game that was an entertaining 0-0 has turned into a real dream for Aston Villa.
Yeah,
Everton are bringing on a defender.
I'm not surprised. I think this game has gone for them. I really do. And it's a question of trying to maintain confidence going into the next game, because this could be a rout the way Everton have approached the last 5 minutes. But this game has got the goals that it deserved.
They're actually not. Apologies, I spotted the wrong player. It's Anthony Gordon that's going to come on, a 20-year-old attacking player. I did think to myself that's a strange one, but he came on as a substitute in the opening day win over Southampton, and I think we're going to see him again. The youngster came through the Everton youth system, been there since the age of 11. Mean a lot to him, Liverpool-born man, to be playing on a more regular basis for Everton. The question is, can he come on and make a big impact on this game? As Keane with a loose pass, forcing Mina back towards his own byline. He's in real trouble here. Watkins harrying and hassling him, and you've got to say that the Colombian's done pretty well to get that one away. But Gomes loses out there to Nakamba. Now here's Bailey. Bit of help there from Ramsey, and Bailey goes down towards the byline, is brought down by Ben Godfrey, and he's going to go to the referee's notebook. That's a yellow card for the Everton fullback. First one of the game.
Well, I said the game needed a match winner, and Leon Bailey has provided it. Everything he's done since he's come on has been positive, direct. It's asked questions of the Everton defence, and frankly they haven't answered them.
Not sure they've answered anything with this performance today.
No.
Here comes the substitution then, and it is Anthony Gordon coming on for Alan. So the young Scouser coming on for the Brazilian midfield maestro. The floppy strawberry blonde hair, and his first job is going to be to have to try and defend this set piece, which will be taken from the near side by Douglas Luiz, and he's gone for goal, you know. Tried to catch out Asmir Begovic at his near post. He may have just had it covered. He's a big old frame, isn't he, Asmir Begovic, but Luiz got it wrong anyway.
Yeah, I think as a striker, I mean, I understand it being 2-0 up, but as a striker I'd be livid with him. It's a really good position to put a ball into the box, and for me to score a goal, and that's a complete waste as far as I'm concerned.
Nesco T has got in touch on @TalkSport Live on Twitter. He said, I was typing Matty Cash will break the deadlock, and then I heard you guys scream his name.
Of course you were.
That really is unbelievable. He says Everton are now panicking, and they certainly were, to the point that they conceded again 2 minutes later. @TalkSport Live if you want to join in the conversation. Tell us who'll score the next one then, Nesco T, and we'll believe you. We'll change your name to Psychic T.
Well, you'll get very, very good odds on Everton getting one.
Here's Nakamba, just got caught out for a second there by Gomes, I think. Yeah, it's run out of play off of the Portuguese. Looks like he's got everything when you just look at the sort of physicality of his body. Andre Gomes, he could look perfectly built for the Premier League, doesn't he, as a central midfield player. He's athletic, he's big, he's tall, but I think that injury knocked him for 6.
Yeah, absolutely, it was a bad one.
Ings spreads the ball out to the left hand side for Leon Bailey, and his pace has got him in behind him. Bailey absolutely smashed it home. And if he looked like the match winner in terms of creativity, he surely is now as a goal scorer too. Aston Villa 3, Everton 0. Leon Bailey's up and running in the Premier League.
Well, the king is dead. Long live the king. Villa have a new hero. The whole end salutes him. What an unbelievable finish this is. It's another example of a player who's just had enough of this game. The ball from Ings, it's a fabulous ball with the outside of his right boot, and if the first touch is good, he's in, and it is. It's a header right on goal, no other thought, direct. He smashes that. If it doesn't go in, he kills Asmir Begovic, because this ball is going at 100 miles an hour. What a finish. This lad, well, as I mentioned, Villa have a new cult hero.
The task for Dean Smith is to get the consistency out of him. Scored 9 goals for Bayer Leverkusen last season, and 3 seasons ago as well. In between, issues perhaps with mentality, certainly issues with form and fitness, and he's been booked for his celebration as well. I have to confess, I was so excited about it, I didn't spot it, but I'm assuming he took his shirt off.
Yeah, I think he showed some love to Steph, whoever Steph is, on his shirt.
Yes.
But I'm not sure he'd be too fussed about that. And
we're all big fans of Steph.
Who isn't, exactly, and I'm not sure Dean Smith will be too bothered anyway. What a cameo performance from this lad. He's been absolutely sensational. From the first kick, when he came on and took that free kick, and he put that ball right on the money, he just looked like a lad who was desperate to get on the pitch and play a part in winning this game for Villa, and he has done that.
Believe it or not, Rafa Benitez has only ever lost 1 game against Aston Villa as a manager, and that's in 17 matches. Well, I think it's fair to say he's beaten now. And similarly, Dean Smith had never beaten Rafa Benitez prior to now. They only ever faced each other twice, and Dean Smith was the Brentford boss, and Newcastle were in the Championship at the time. But it's going to be a bit of revenge for Dean Smith, and Villa marginally bettering their record when they face a side with Rafa Benitez in charge.
And meanwhile, it's another lovely piece of skill from Leon Bailey down this left-hand side, taking on his man, cutting inside. He looks a real find, doesn't he?
I mean, he was the year he really broke through at Leverkusen, what's now 4 seasons ago. You know, people were talking about Chelsea. There was no doubt he looked a sensation. Leverkusen kept hold of him. They've got big money as far as the Bundesliga are concerned, and he stayed and didn't quite work for a while, and then again he had a real spring last season, made a big difference. And we look at him now and think, you know, perhaps he is a Premier League superstar in the West. It is his former Leverkusen teammate, by the way, Damari Gray, briefly 6 months last season for Everton now. They've sprung it to the left-hand side for Luca Digne. Digne tries to cut it back to Gray. Here's Gomez! Takes a big deflection, couple of them, comes out to Townsend. Ball back into the box, cleared as far as Gordon. Anthony Gordon being held off by the opening goal scorer, Matty Cash. And Villa will clear that ball away down the right-hand side. Held up well by Watkins. Had his shirt pulled by Keane, but he's managed to find a teammate, Douglas Luiz. And now here down through the middle comes Ramsey. His pass is awful towards Bailey, whose pace will allow him to keep it in, but he's far wider than he would have liked. And he's actually just turning his back to Gordon, and there must be a player down that he's done that. It's Ramsey, I think, who's in a bit of pain. Is it?
It was Ramsey when he played that pass. I'm not sure if he overstretched or whether he got clipped, but he definitely went down face first into the turf. I didn't see it. It was out of my eye line.
presumably Everton will take this throw, and will they have to give it all the way back to the goalkeeper?
Yeah, well, that's what the referee's saying. I mean, good luck with this in the 80th minute, trying to kick this all the way back down the other end.
It's frustrating because Bailey was, on the attack, and he could have continued. In fact, now Bailey's gone down himself.
Yeah.
Is that part of the problem? He's holding his left calf, I should say, left thigh. I'm learning parts of the body as
the anatomy. Yeah. The leg.
Yeah, he's holding his leg. We'll deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, the cameo from Bailey has been absolutely explosive. I'm just wondering whether
was he too cold almost?
Yeah, exactly. Before he came on, he's certainly in a bit of discomfort. He's holding it. He's shaking his head. I don't think he's going to be able to continue.
I mean, that's professionalism, isn't it? In the end, you've got to be ready when you come on. You've got to say to your coach, "No, I'm not warm enough," or am I being too harsh?
Well, maybe. I mean, these lads. The thing is, my dad always used to say that these players are strung like racehorses. They're so. You only need one tiny little thing to go wrong that has an impact on another part of your body, and you can do all the stretching you like. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason for it. I've been playing where I've had absolutely in full flow, scoring goals, having a really good run, and suddenly bang, your hamstring just goes out of nowhere. There's no rhyme or reason for it.
Seeing a couple more changes for Everton. John Joe Kenny is coming on, another man with experience of German football, by the way, for Ben Godfrey, who really, I mean, where was he for that Bailey goal? He had gone across over to the left side of the field, bizarrely. And Tom Davies is also coming on. More Scousers. If you've not spent much time in Liverpool, you don't know the accent, you might struggle to understand anything these lads are going to be saying to each other for the next 10 minutes. Mind you, if you're an Everton fan, you might not want to hear too much of it. And Leon Bailey is coming off here with this injury. It's a real disappointment, but well, he's done all right since coming on, I think it's fair to say.
He really has. He's won Villa this game.
He's been on for 19 minutes. An assist for an own goal, which I don't think counts as an assist, unfortunately, and was involved in the opener, and then got the goal that's made it 3-0 and put the points beyond Everton. And Ashley Young is coming on for Bailey. Got booked in that time as well.
Yeah. What an eventful 19 minutes that. I was just looking at Ashley Young actually coming on as well. I think I played against Ashley Young when he was an 18-year-old lad at Watford, and I swear he's got younger.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a Watford fan, and if you go back to the playoffs when Watford got promoted, that he was in that side, he really does look like a little boy.
Oh, does he?
He really, really does. I know that he remains a youthful man, but he is. He is a baby-faced assassin, isn't he? My word, and what a career!
Some career, yeah, exactly.
Had.
Took the words out of my mouth. What a career he's had,
including the Serie A title last season. He's made his Premier League debut against Everton, in fact, for Watford, long time ago now. And now he'd love a goal for Aston Villa, having returned in the summer from that Serie A title-winning campaign in Italy with Inter. Did once score twice for Villa in a game against Everton back in 2008. He's looking to get on the ball now. Traps it nicely on his chest. Drops kindly in front of him. Away from Kenny he goes into Nakamba. It's one of these games where I want to say to you, how has it been won? But I think it's difficult to analyse this on a tactical basis, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's just been carnage, frankly.
Yeah, I think at one point in the excitement I said it was won by somebody who just wasn't going to settle for the game going the way it was, and that was Matty Cash.
Yeah.
He just wasn't having it anymore, and it really was as simple as that. Someone trying something a little bit different. I mean, when was the last time you saw Matty Cash run into the box, cut onto his left foot and smash one in the top corner?
Well, literally never.
Literally never.
Yeah. It's never been done. So, as Davies tries to hack the ball away, and then Mings, I think, fires it off of him and wins his team a corner, does he? Difficult to tell from that angle whether it actually came off Mings last. I'll tell you what, if you want difficulty, try commentating on a team with Mings and Ings in the same part of the pitch. Bertrand Traoré is going to come on for Aston Villa. Young taking, it's neither a corner nor a goal kick, it's actually ended up being a throw to Villa. In it goes to Ramsey. He's lost out with too many white shirts around him. Demarai Gray comes away with it, finds Andre Gomez behind, and out to the left hand side it goes, and they come forward now out on the left with Anthony Gordon, fouled by Cash. Gordon picks himself up, free kick to Everton inside the Aston Villa half towards the left hand side. Might as well just lump it up to some big centre halves now and see what happens. Luca Digne, man who scored the own goal, is the one to go and do that. Here comes his free kick. Good delivery that. Keane with loads of time, loads of space, puts it wide.
Yeah, I thought he was offside first of all, but he looked at the linesman. In fact, it's not Keane, it's Yerry Mina who's offside, but Keane isn't, and he'll think, especially after last week where he did score against Burnley, he should have done a little bit better there.
3-0 to Aston Villa will prevent Everton moving into the top 4. Could have gone joint top today, in fact, had they won this game, but they are going to stay 5th for the time being. Liverpool won earlier on today. Manchester City got a draw that took them above Everton. And their goal difference means that they are the poorest of the sides with 10 points, with Man United and Chelsea still to play tomorrow, as the man who got this game underway in terms of goal scoring has taken off. Matty Cash, and Bertrand Traoré is on in his place.
We just got a really nice replay there of Matty Cash celebrating his goal. You will have to go a long way in the Premier League to see a bigger smile than that, mainly out of amazement, I think it was.
On his left foot as well.
Yeah.
One of those that he will treasure forever, as Mings goes in hard behind Townsend and wins the header. Finds Ramsey. Neat and tidy today, Ramsey, rather than spectacular, but could have scored, probably should have scored when he went through with the score at 2. Away by Martinez, looking for a clean sheet for Aston Villa now, and you'd think almost that might be the priority, but they might do so by coming forward again. Here's Douglas Luiz to Traoré. Traoré comes back towards his own half, and there's Konsa giving it to Mings, to Anzebi I should say, to Mings. And here's Young. It's Ole football now as far as the Villa fans are concerned.
Yeah, this is not nice if you're an Everton player.
It goes to the goalkeeper, and a long one out towards the far side. Header one over there by Konsa, who's moved over into the right back position since the arrival of Traoré. Free kick has gone Aston Villa's way.
Everton now just desperate for this game to end. There's nothing in it for them anymore. It can only get worse as far as they're concerned. Get a shot of Rafa Benitez on the bench. He is far from happy.
He's got a tough old task, because the moment things go wrong, that's when his Liverpool past starts coming up, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one game, fair enough, but if this turns into 2 or 3 or 4, then suddenly things become much, much tougher for him.
It's a much shorter honeymoon period than it would be for another manager coming into the same job, certainly. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
The fixtures aren't terrible for Everton on the way. They've got QPR in the Cup, Championship side, good Championship side, but still, and it's an away trip, so that's not too easy in midweek. But then next week it's Norwich at home, which, what is it, something like 15 games they've lost in a row in there over sort of their 2 past Premier League seasons, this one and 2 seasons ago. Beaten again today. Then it's Man United away, which is obviously a difficult one, but West Ham at home, Watford at home, Wolves away, before they have Spurs at home. Not terrible set of fixtures, and Rafa Benitez was at pains to describe how he feels that there is slow improvement to be done with this Everton team. It's not going to be a quick fix, and bear in mind what Dave Kitson was saying earlier about how they've overspent and going to really struggle to recruit big in the coming seasons. You can see that it's going to have to be done on the training ground, and there aren't many better at it than him.
No, there isn't, and I think that's why he was brought in, because the days of bringing in players on 100 and whatever £1,000 a week, as far as Everton are concerned, they're over.
Trying to get the ball through up towards Anthony Gordon there, but again another overhit pass. And the concern for them, I think, in this second half is really they've had that great chance where he bent one wide and that keen header in the last few minutes, and that's sort of it. It's like they ran out of ideas at half time, which you would have hoped would have been when he could have instilled new ones in them.
Yeah, they have been pretty blunt up front. We said it at half time, the game was there for whoever had a little bit of class in the final third, and that's been Aston Villa.
Header forward by Tuan Zebi, runs into touch, throw into Everton, which Lucadinho will take. As you mentioned, tough old couple of minutes for him between the opening and second goals. Own goal for the man wearing the Everton captain's armband today. Possession there, he's just got there ahead of Douglas Luiz, and they've managed to get it out and into space on this right hand side. Kenny gives it to Andros Townsend, in onto his left foot. Kenny goes outside of him, up to Davies, approaching it edge of the area. Shot is blocked by Ramsey. Traore's back helping out, and Digne again sold a dummy. Slides off the Frenchman into touch far side for a throw, and Leon Bailey is sat on the touchline in the dugout now, looking thoroughly fed up, knowing that his career at Villa has just had lift-off, and yet an injury that those ones can take some time to recover from.
Yeah, just getting there's a lull in play. His highlights of his best bits, albeit there were only 19 minutes to go at, but he packed a lot into them, and I just like the directness of him. I really do. We've seen a lot of players actually in this game who you think with a better first touch and they're in on goal and they don't seem to realise it, whereas this lad, he knows where the goal is, he knows what he wants to do. Very direct.
I'll tell you what, if you like direct, wait till you get a glimpse of the opposite wingman at Leverkusen that he was a teammate of, Diaby. He is some player as well, a little bit younger, more time to come through. Moussa Diaby, 22 years of age, Frenchman who I'm telling you, there's a player in there that I'm sure there are Premier League sides looking at too. Really, really exciting wingers they've had at Leverkusen. Just got to wonder, the way Gray has started, whether they let go of him a bit too soon as well. Lighting up the Premier League once more as Watkins turns inside the Everton area and tries a cross-come shot. It bounces off of Mina and goes behind for a Villa corner. And there's now some sort of heated discussion going on between Mina and Watkins.
Yeah, Mina hasn't been very happy for at least the last 20 minutes. He's been shouting at anyone who will listen to him, and his challenges on Villa players have been pretty heavy, to say the least. He's a very, very unhappy man.
Well, you'd want him to be, of course, if you're an Everton persuasion.
Yeah, of course.
Mings is shouting exactly where he wants this corner to come. And it's going to be Douglas Luiz up towards the edge of the area. Plenty of time for Traore, but his first touch was a little heavy, and he allowed Doucouré the time to come in and block the shot. Ings picks it up far side, tight to the right touch line. Doucouré's in with him. Ings wins his team throw. We've got 30 seconds of this stoppage time left to play before Craig Paulson puts his whistle to his lips and blows it for the final time tonight. And we have watched a thoroughly entertaining encounter. Lovely touch round the corner by Luiz. Now it might open up for Traoré. A fourth really would be the icing on the cake, but he didn't get the purchase on the shot. Bounces out as far as Nakamba. Nakamba comes up to Traoré. We could have slipped it through again towards Watkins. Everton, though, will get it back off of him. And here's Andre Gomes. He won't be able to launch a break for a potential consolation for Everton, because the full-time whistle has gone, and at the end of a thoroughly entertaining encounter, Aston Villa pick up 3 points for just the second time this season. They move for the time being into the top half, and